Good afternoon. Hello everyone. I'm here today visiting Dr. Chris Bhat's office in Beaumont, Texas. He's a practicing allergy immunologist and board certified sleep physician as well as a pediatrician. The reason for my visit today here is to have Dr. Bhat answer a few questions, medical questions relating to some of the health issues. Dr. Bhat, thank you for seeing us today and agreeing to answer some of the questions, health questions. Before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself to us and to the public and let us know what is your specialty.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Krishna D. Bhat, and in America they call me Chris Bhat. In India they call me KD Bhat, so I go by KD Bhat, Krishna Bhat and Chris Bhat. I was born in Urtod, which is near Sirsi in North Kannada district in India, and I went to medical school in KMC Hubli and also Karnataka College Harvard. I came to America in 1976, about 42 years ago now. Did residency in pathology at Methodist Hospital in Dallas, then pediatrics at St. Jude Children's Hospital, and also at Tulane University, New Orleans. After that, I did a fellowship in allergy and immunology at Louisiana State University in Shreveport, and subsequently I did pulmonary fellowship at Indiana University in Indianapolis. And I've been practicing since 1982 in Beaumont and also in Houston. And during my career also, I published a few articles and also wrote a couple of books. One is Patient Guide to Asthma several years ago, and the next one is going to be Indo-American parenting, because when I was raising my children I thought we need to do something to raise your children right in America, so I wrote this book that you can find in Amazon. And also recently I wrote another book called Social Impact of Hindu Scripture. In this book we talk about Ayurveda, Gomutra, Veda, Upanishad, and a lot of things. The reason I mentioned this book because I did a chapter on Ayurveda, what we need to do, how we need to improve, and also about Gomutra, so you can refer back to the article when I'm talking about the Ayurveda or the Gomutra. Right now I practice sleep medicine. I took a board in sleep medicine in 2003, and my practice currently involves outpatient pulmonary and also allergy immunology and sleep medicine. I did critical care in ICU for 24 years, so now I'm doing more outpatient practices with allergy immunology, sleep medicine and pulmonary medicine. Thank you.
Dr. Bhat, my first question to you would be, isn't it a moral responsibility of a physician to guide a patient when they have some concerns and health issues to the proper direction? So how would you address some of these concerns? As a physician, what would you do?
Yes, it is a big moral and ethical responsibility as a physician to guide the patients when they come to you, what to do, evaluate and make appropriate treatment. You don't go by this, by that, but there is evidence-based medicine in the West. In India, they may not have the evidence-based medicine. If you are a physician, a cardiologist, neurologist, allergy immunologist, whatever you are, they come to see you, you got to give the appropriate treatment according to the recommendations by the specialty organization, and also should be evidence-based. What Dr. B.M. Hegde talks about, none of the things he's talking about not evidence-based. And what you're doing by doing that, a patient may have a obstruction of the coronary artery, or he could have a carotid artery stenosis, but you tell them you don't need a stent, you don't need a bypass, don't need a cholesterol medication, just do some squats. it's not the standard recommendation by any cardiology in the world. And just I want to say that because those statements are not correct, and a lot of, it's not even controversial, it's definitely not recommended in the United States.
As far as I know, I remember you mentioning that you are a heart patient yourself. And what was the treatment that you sought, and were you happy with the treatment that you got?
Of course, if I didn't have a stent 15 years ago, probably I wouldn't be talking to you today. So it did help, and I'm taking the medications including aspirin, Plavix, and also Levalo, which is a cholesterol medication. So that's why I'm still alive, not dead yet. I don't want anybody who has the cardiac diseases just to hold on, wait, don't take anything, just do some squats, and when you have a heart attack, you lose your life. Unfortunately, in India, if this happens, there's no recourse. There's no legal lawsuit or suing somebody for the damages. That's why you can say whatever you want. And I have a friend of mine who is a tabla player, is a physician, recommending homeopathy. Many, doctors are practicing who are not even certified, and a certified physician like him making wrong recommendations. So that's why, as a physician, I cannot do that, at least in the US. If you do, you have a recourse. You have a lot of issues. They take your license away. You may put you in jail too.
Thank you.
One more.
Good afternoon, and thank you for taking some questions, Dr. Bhat. The other day I received a WhatsApp message which contained a video clip about heart disease and questions addressed by Dr. B.M. Hegde, who's a cardiologist in Manipur. And I would like to know, is bypass surgery and stents unnecessary? What is your opinion? Dr. B.M. Hegde said that there is no reason to have bypass surgery and no need to do stents. He thinks it's a placebo effect, and I just was not sure.
Thank you for asking these questions. I know that you sent me that video. I briefly watched, I didn't go through every detail. But Dr. B.M. Hegde seems to be a well-known cardiologist in Bangalore. Also, he got a Padma Bhushan. He has a lot of credentials on him. But it does not mean that everything that I or you or anybody has to agree on his statements, which is very controversial and not scientifically not accepted. The first thing he said, that bypass is not necessary, that the coronary artery thrombosis or blockage is good. And he says that by doing that, you create hypoxia. Hypoxia causes more collateral circulations, and automatically you will have a bypass. Why do you need a bypass? And also it shows this video showing that squatting so many times a day, squatting causes hypoxia, which increases collateral circulation, and you don't need a bypass. Let me tell you something. If anybody has read Dr. West's physiology on the pulmonary medicine, you know that when you go to a higher altitude, your oxygen level goes down from 80, 90 PaO2 down to 50, sometimes 35 to 40. If you do that right away, you may die because of acute hypoxia or chronic brain damage. But slowly you go at a higher altitude, you slowly get used to it. You increase the 2,3 DPG in the blood, and more hemoglobin, more oxygen, you deliver it slowly. That's why when you go climb the Mount Everest, you have to step by step where to go, the first level, second, third, fourth, acclimatize. So if you think just by squatting, you're going to create hypoxia of 40 or 50 millimeter mercury, I think he must be kidding. I think he should go back and read the West Physiology. Dr. West is wonderful. Maybe give him some basics. So I think the blood clot in the artery, clog the artery, collateral circulation may or may not be developed, then if an acute incident, exercise or some acute event, 3 o'clock in the morning, you have sleep apnea, you develop hypoxia, suddenly what happens? You have a heart attack or angina. I see a lot of people say they die in their sleep because he has hypoxia because of sleep apnea. I'm a board certified sleep physician, allergy immunologist, and also pulmonary physician. That's why I'm telling you that the angina or heart attack happened 3 o'clock in the morning because of hypoxia. So if you think just having that squat is going to create a collateral circulation is totally wrong. Dr. DeBakey in Houston, I'm in Houston, is the world's biggest medical center everywhere. That's the best one in the country and in the world. Dr. DeBakey is the one invented the bypass operation. You can imagine how many millions of people he saved. Dr. Denton Cooley, how many people he has saved. So you think that it is not necessary that to do a bypass, you just die like that? I don't think that's not the right thing to say in the modern world. Now you say with the modern medicine, bypass is not necessary. I think no cardiologist or any scientist will agree what he says.
Thank you. So you think bypass or stents are definitely needed. Now, what about drugs like statins that are taken to prevent cholesterol or high cholesterol? So do you think people should not take those either?
Dr. B.M. Hegde says statins are necessary. It's a Wall Street money-making business. They make all these drugs and make money. I do agree with certain extent that there is a drug industry do things like that, but it doesn't mean that you don't need a statin drug like simvastatin, Lipitor. There are a bunch of 20, 30 different drugs related to statins are available now. But saying that you don't need it is, I don't agree with that. Let me tell you the first thing. I myself, being a physician, and I was young, and never checked my cholesterol level. In 2003, I had a chest pain at 3 o'clock in the morning in Urto, a small town of 4 houses. And I found out, I didn't believe that I had a heart attack, but then my brother forced me to go and see a physician. I found out that I had ST elevation and a heart attack. Luckily, it was a small vessel. I'm an exercise fanatic, exercise all the time. I had a lot of collaterals and nothing happened to me. I came to the United States. I went to see my friend Dr. Ganam, and for surprise, I had a LAD blockage, means left mainstem artery, coronary artery was blocked, and I had a stent. Since then, I had no problem. If I didn't have a stent, believe me, one of these days I had a massive heart attack, either died at night, died on a bicycle, somewhere. So the stent really helped me a whole lot. That prevented a bypass operation. Stent is a great invention. Of course, you can abuse the stent just like anything else. And now they put the stent for all 3 arteries. 3 stent, 4 they put it. So now the bypass operations have become less and less because more stent, more technology, more skilled cardiologists, we can put a stent. I don't know whether Dr. B.M. Hagde is an interventional cardiologist or just non-interventional, means that it does the EKG, echo, patient history, that kind of thing. But stent has prevented bypass operation at the Methodist Hospital. And I work at the Methodist Hospital. You know, you got thousands of operations a year, now hardly 60 or 70 bypass operations at the Methodist. On the other hand, in Bangalore, my own friend, Dr. Bhat, he does 1 or 2 operations every day, increasing bypass operation in India than America because of stent and also statin drugs. And my cholesterol is below 100, and I'm doing great. And also now they have Framingham studies looking at the risk ratio when to use the cholesterol. If you have hypertension, diabetes, you need a lower level of cholesterol to treat. If you have completely healthy, no problem, then maybe 150, 160 LDL, whatever, it depends upon the calculations. We do use a statin drug. So India needs Framingham study to evaluate the cholesterol, when to use, when to not use it. Without any research, you're saying that you don't need the statin drug for anybody. That's foolish, because many people who may have hypercholesteremia, but they have been treated, after 8 to 10 years they have blockage, then you have cardiovascular mortality, heart attack, cerebrovascular strokes, paralysis, pulmonary embolus, a lot of things. So anybody listen to my video, you better think, if you're not 40 or 43, 44, get your cholesterol checked. If you're obese, check for sleep apnea, etc. And also if high cholesterol, if you meet the guideline, be on statin drug, cholesterol, be on aspirin. Aspirin is a blood thinner. So those two things prevent a lot of things. That's why in America, you got almost 60% reduction in the cardiac mortality. India, on the other hand, is going up because people don't check their cholesterol, they smoke, alcohol, all other things. They adopt the Western culture, the bad stuff. Of course, you're going to have more cardiovascular diseases, heart attack, stroke, etc. So, my friends, believe me, if you have chest pain, don't wait. You better get checked. Get the tests, whatever you need to do. If you need a stent, get the stent. If you need to be on cholesterol, get the cholesterol medications. If you need a bypass, 3 vessel, get it done. So don't listen to Dr. B.M. Hegde. He may be a great guy, but he is a Dr. Oz in America.
Thank you. What would you say is alternative
Medicine.
Dr. Bhat, what would be the role of alternative medicine such as Ayurveda in modern medicine today?
One thing you need to understand, the difference in the modern medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. Modern medicine is allopathic medicine. Modern medicine is based on evidence-based. For example, you got one group of patients, you give the cholesterol drug, one you don't. Then you prospectively study those patients over the 7 or 8, 10 years and see whether it's prevent the coronary stenosis or plaques, whatever. And this is how we decide whether to have a placebo effect, because I can give salt water injection, I can show 30% improvement. That's the reason we do the double-blind control studies and the level of recommendation A, B, C, D, and E. Highest level of evidence is A, and second, then it's B, C, and D. So it depends upon the evidence base. So we treat every patient on the evidence base. Unfortunately, Ayurvedic medicine is not evidence based. It's not studied. It's more of a belief and a faith. Ayurveda came. Ayurveda is written, started in Atharva Veda, which is 2500 BC, where Atharva Veda is Upaveda. Atharva Veda is Ayurvedic medicine. At that time, Harappa civilization, using the different plants and leaves to treat certain diseases, is in the Atharva Veda, and that branch of Atharva Veda called Upaveda, they call it, and ended up being Ayurveda. But most of the things are written around 400 AD by Charaka Samhita. It's called Charaka Samhita. It's one of the original Ayurvedic medicine. But since then, the Ayurveda has not really modernized a whole lot, because Sanskrit, a lot of people do not understand, and all things they are doing is based on Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha is cause of all the diseases. They don't have the anatomical localization of the various diseases, like liver. If you cough, where the cough is coming from? Coming from the lung, the acid reflux, or is the heart, or something in the throat. They don't do that. They basically do on a symptom basis, not on organ basis. So that's why it's difficult to treat a disease if you don't have identify the disease as such and what to give. In Ayurveda, we don't have a national standard. What is in this pill? What is in this particular pill they're selling? In the 90s, Maharishi Mahayogi has sold a lot of Ayurvedic medications in America. Lot had a lead, arsenic, and mercury. And lead lead to some people with the brain encephalopathy and brain damage. So you have to make sure when you buy the Ayurvedic medications, these medications don't have arsenic or mercury, these kind of things.
Yes, and I've also noticed that they don't have the labeling done correctly on Ayurveda, so there's no way of knowing whether what exactly you are taking.
Exactly. What happens, Ayurvedic medication, a lot of times the secret, you go to one village to the next village, next Ayurvedic, it doesn't tell you what he's giving. The reason they not progress because they don't communicate from, let's say, take Himalaya to Kerala. What Himalaya gives in Himalayas or Uttarakhand gives you may not be the same thing in the south. Because he doesn't tell you the secret, what he's giving, and the guy in the south may not tell the secret, what he's giving. So each group of people have the secrets for secrecy. Secrecy is the one caused Ayurveda to modernize. So that's why everybody has to get together, what he's giving, what other person is giving in the whole nation, put together some compendium, a pharmacopoeia, like how we have PDR. We give antibiotic for certain things. We give you antibiotic for gram-negative, penicillin for this. We have each drug, we label what to give, what diseases. So they don't have that. So whatever they want to do, they give it to you. You take Ayurvedic pill, it's going to prevent everything. Other thing, they have something called Panchakarma treatment. You have drink a ghee for asthma for 7 days, asthma is going to go away. Then purgation, vomiting. Then enema. And basti means nadasuri type thing. So these 4 or 5 things cures everything for every diseases. So that makes no sense. What I'm saying is that I'm not saying Ayurveda has no role. It may have a role. If you don't find out what it does, what the medicine does, what Panchakarma treatment does, if you don't know, how do you recommend that? What I suggest is that to bring the Ayurveda back to the front, you need to integrate with allopathic medicine. I would suggest every Ayurvedic medical school send their patients to allopathic medical school, spend maybe 6 to 8 months or a year in the allopathic medical school. See what they teach anatomy, teach physiology, teach pathology. In the same way, you bring the allopathy doctors to Ayurvedic. Being a Hindu country, being India, why can't you have an integrated school? So bring the allopathy doctors to Ayurvedic school and see what they're teaching. Learn in both ways so that you will have a research, integration, and hire a bunch of PhDs, biologists, chemistry, chemists, pharmaceuticals. Get all this together, put together a program, integrated medical approach. That's what I recommend for it to come to the forefront. If you don't, Ayurveda is going to be still, the 100 years going to be the same, will not progress. Just like osteopathic medicine in America, in 60s, 70s used to be, they used to call them quacks, but now osteopathy doctors as good as MDs. So why don't we do that? That way, will have a wonderful combination. Maybe we should get the medication that the pharmaceuticals sponsor it. Maybe government can help. Let's develop a new drug, a new therapy for things. That's what we should do rather than talking about our past. They did that in 400 AD, 1300 AD. And what happened to the medication 10 years ago? I may not use it today. We used to use theophylline for asthma 30 years ago, but now we don't use it at all because we got a better medication, better drugs, less side effects, no problem. If you have that, why do you want to use same old medicine, may or may not be effective, and have a double-blind control studies to see is it effective, not effective, or a placebo effect. Many times in my own practice I see, I'm an allergy immunologist. Many times we see, you take the allergy injection, oh, I'm getting wonderful. Within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know why? Because they feel I'm taking something, I'm better. That's psychological. Of course, it's also important, but you need to have a control studies to rule out the placebo effect. So that's why in allergy immunology or any medicine, we have that studies. We use only things that is effective, not placebo, at least 70-80% effective, not 30%. 30% is placebo. What doctor is saying, Dr. B.M. Hegde, may a lot of placebo effect. I don't know where he invested his money, just like Dr. Oz, selling all the alternative stuff like herbal products, weight loss products, everything. He's worth $35 million today because it's a billions of dollars business in the alternative medicine in this country, in America. I'm sure India is a lot of people using multivitamin, this and that, all homeopathy, herbal products, Ayurveda. A lot of money wasted, but nobody knows if it's really working or not. Dr. Oz was actually called in the Senate floor to interview him. Why is he recommending these kind of weight loss products which not proven to be effective? He was recommending green coffee for the weight loss. There's no evidence. So, Dr. B.M. Hegde is nothing. He is an Indian version of Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is a cardiothoracic surgeon at Columbia. Dr. Oz, he is a vice chancellor or principal, all kinds of degree he has, cardiologist. So I can compare those two people together to make money. Dr. Oz made a lot of money. He's a Turkish doctor initially. I don't know Dr. B.M. Hegde, I don't know his financial situation, unless he invested money in Ayurveda, other products. He may be selling it, I don't know. But I hope that he gives the most evidence-based advice rather than a bunch of junk science advice. And that's why I'm here to talk about that. So I hope that you guys don't buy everything he says and use it. It may not be effective.
So you advise patients to really go and talk to their family physicians and get proper advice rather than just follow whatever is promoted by Dr. B.M. Hegde. Okay, what is the role of, or how important do you think drinking Gomutra is? I mean, does it really solve any health problems? This is something that Dr. Hegde promotes also. And do you think anybody can get some benefit from that?
I tell you that I wrote a book called Social Impact of Hindu Scripture. I have a chapter on Gomutra, of course, on Ayurveda too. I analyzed the Gomutra from morning and evening urine sample, also buffalo, human beings, all the things analyzed. What is in the urine? Let's think first. First you got to know what is in it. Then you decide whether I want to take it or not. It has urea, 90 to 120 milligram urea. You have sodium, you got potassium, some creatine, and maybe some vitamins excreted in it. What is urine? It's excretion from the body. Kidney filters all the things you don't want, you pee it out. So stool, what is in the stool? Things you don't need it, you get it out. So it is excreta, is stool, excretion is the urine. So also, one of the Swamis, Ramachandra Mutha Swami, sells gomutra and also arka. Arka is nothing. They take the gomutra and distill it. I went personally, took the arka and brought it with me, analyzed it. What is in it? 60 milli equivalent of sodium. And no BUN and nothing else. So you can put a glass of water, put a little salt, drink it. It's as good as arka. But you pay 40-50 bucks, that's Gotirtha, they sell it in Bangalore, everywhere, and the drinking is healthy. So there is no evidence anywhere in the literature that gomutra either treats or prevents the diseases. It doesn't. Gomutra, any urine used to be, in the human urine they used to use to drink. Murad Desa drank his own urine. Okay. In Germany, in the olden days, they used to use the urine to whiten their teeth. A lot of people have a stained teeth. Gomutra has a lot of chlorine. What does chlorine does? Whiten the teeth. So they used to use chlorine to whiten the teeth in Germany, in other countries before. So should you not use paste, you use a gomutra to brush your teeth? You want to go back to that? And what I'm saying is that there's no benefit, proven benefit, no evidence, but if you don't want to drink gomutra, you want to be happy with it, you can drink it. In my research, it says that it's no big harm drinking it, but no benefit.
As you know, today people are living longer and longer. Life expectancy has increased. And what would you say you would attribute that to? Is it modern medicine, Ayurveda, or alternative medicine? I mean, who do we have to thank for? And
well, we have to thank the Western medicine. Number one, polio, for example. How many people die of polio and measles and smallpox? I grew up in a village. How many people in my village died of smallpox? And smallpox vaccination compulsory in every child. When I grew up, we got smallpox vaccination. So smallpox is almost eliminated in India, of course in the entire world. So before the invention of tuberculosis by Robert Koch, there was no treatment for tuberculosis. Even India today still has the highest number of patients with tuberculosis than anywhere in the world, because still India TB treatment is not completely implemented and followed through. In America, only 8 patients receive, but not as many. So if you look at the measles vaccination, how many people used to die because of measles? Measles vaccination prevented the measles. Today in America, pediatric practice is all about prevention. Vaccination for H influenza, measles, diphtheria, tetanus. When I was in medical school in Hubli, we used to have a tetanus ward where people get tetanus. Rabies, big killers. So rabies, smallpox, polio, tuberculosis, cholera, typhoid. Typhoid, India still a lot of deaths because of typhoid. So with the vaccination, we're preventing all this. Look at invention of chloramphenicol, cured the typhoid. We didn't have that before. So after 1949, in the antibiotic invention of penicillin, how many lives we have saved? Is it because of Ayurvedic medication invention? Even though Ayurveda has been there since 400 AD, unfortunately, they never progressed and invented or discovered new things to treat the diseases. That's why you can look at Swami Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, they all died very early age. We don't know if it's because of heart attack or cholera, smallpox or what, we don't know. In my own house, supposed to have 36 people and everybody died except my father. My grandmother had 16 children, only 2 survived. What does it tell you? We had Ayurveda before. In 1900, we had long time, but we couldn't prevent those deaths. So I would say that allopathic medication, new invention, new CT scan, MRI, stents, bypass, all these things, modern medicine saved millions of people, believe me. So we have to really compliment the Westerners and Western medication and invention to prolong our life.
My next question would be to you is that do you think drug reactions are the main cause of deaths, adverse reactions? And this is the statement made by Dr. B.M. Hegde. And what is your stand on that, Dr. Bhat?
No, absolutely not. I'm an allergy immunologist and I see drug interactions every day. I see the patients with rash, hives, anaphylaxis every day. People are taking 10, 15, 20 medications. But adverse drug reaction is not the common cause of death. Common cause of death in the entire world, including India, America, everywhere, because it's cardiovascular, it's number one. If you're youngsters, accidents. So cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, and stroke, there are a bunch of other things, but cardiovascular is number one. The responsibility of a physician is to prevent heart attacks, prevent stroke, and prevent all the diseases like diabetes, hypertension. Those are the responsibility as a physician that you have. So, what they don't understand, they tell me homeopathy, Ayurveda have no drug reaction. It's wrong information. I see everybody taking herbal medications, homeopathy medications, and taking antibiotics and everything else. And even Ayurvedic medications and also homeopathy medications, it's our job to ask the question to our patients before I pinpoint what they're taking. Multiple times I see they're taking some herbal products and I have to stop it so that we can treat the drug reactions. So, we have blood pressure medication like the valsartan, ACE inhibitors cause anaphylaxis. I see that. And I have not seen a whole lot of people are dead because of that, cause angioedema, anaphylaxis, but that's not causing death. I'm sure there are few deaths. I can't tell you exact number, but I'm telling you, it's not number one.
Okay, thank you. Do you think that the Ayurvedic medications that are given to patients, I have often seen that they don't list any of what the ingredients are in that, and a lot of times they have even given opioids or marijuana or something like that, and a lot of patients feel happy that they are getting better treatment, or even steroids. Do you not think that is the wrong way of practicing?
Yeah, let me tell you my personal experience. One of my relative in Sagar, a young girl, 30 years old, become huge, fat, cushion-eyed, all these things. We found out why she's having that. They asked me, she has asthma. She's going to get treatment in Dharwad, some Ayurvedic physician, and is giving steroids every day and some Ayurvedic medication mixed with it. This girl at the age of 34, 35, becoming huge. You have a lot of bone is getting crushed. Everything is weak, and because of the steroid side effects cause osteoporosis and Cushing syndrome and adrenal gland suppression, a lot of side effects. So many times they don't tell you what they're giving, what is in it, no standardized FDA approval, there's no quality control, and you give in Dharwad is something else he gives you. Go to Bangalore, he gives you something else. We don't have a specific drug for specific disease, and nothing tells you what is in it and what is it for. So unless you have that indications, side effects, and who manufactures, those things it has to be labeled correctly before you prescribe that medication. That's standard in the US. In India also, pharmaceuticals have that standard. And
But that's not followed by the Ayurvedic.
No, not Ayurvedic medication.
Okay.
At least I know so far. And they don't have pharmacopoeia, don't have a compendium, national database, nothing like that.
Dr. Bhat, how else can people be healthy? I mean, what else would you suggest them to prevent disease?
The most important thing is, I think three things are important. One is exercise. Second is food. Third is habits or addiction. These three things are the killers of the heart disease, diabetes, any other diseases. Number one, exercise every day. I think you should spend at least an hour and a half. I spend at least a couple of hours in exercise. First 30 to 40 minutes of yoga plus muscle training, other 40-50 minutes cardiovascular. Increase the heart rate up to 140, 150 is called as a targeted heart rate. Each age has a different heart rate you can calculate. So you do the max heart rate and you get a short of breath, and at that heart rate the blood flow increases in the heart and all the collateral circulation opens up. Dr. B.M. Hegde says just squatting is do it. It doesn't do it. You've got a good cardiovascular exercise, brisk walking, running, or treadmill, increase the heart rate. Now the Fitbits available, so many healthy watches available, use that, max heart rate. At least 70-80% of your capacity, you should do it. That opens up all the vessels. And do that. That will prevent a lot of issues. Now the computer people are sitting all day long in the computer, not having no exercises, and it's important to walk around, do the exercise every day, at least 3 to 4 days a week minimum. The second is food. Food is one of the enemy for the heart disease. High meat intake, high carbohydrate, and we need, of course, calories. At age related calorie requirement. Like for my age, I'm close to 70, I need only about 1800 calories. Women, maybe less than that. So your calorie intake has to be either equal or less than your exercise. So it's a balance of calorie intake and your output. If you eat too much, less exercise, you're going to get weight. So you need to have a balance of that. So less meat eating. I know that nowadays a lot of young people want to eat meat to build the muscles. You don't need to eat meat to build muscles. You can have good vegetarian food like legumes, your dal, all the peas, all kind of stuff. Have a good protein. It's not animal protein. It's very good for the heart. So a healthy diet is very important. Next thing is addiction. Remember, India right now, smoking is increasing. In America, smoking has become less and less, maybe 15%. India and Asian countries are selling the cigarettes in other countries, and these guys are stupid enough to buy the cigarettes and keep on smoking. That is a very bad thing, which is bad for the heart, bad for the brain, and carotid artery stenosis, everything becomes smoking. Now, the third thing is the alcohol. Of course, alcohol is also bad. So we need to stop the alcohol.
Moderation,
smoking.
everything.
I suggest don't try to mess with the alcohol, because once you have 1 glass of drink every day and have 2 or 3, 15% addiction rate in alcohol. If you try alcohol, once in a while maybe okay, but it's a high addiction potential, so you got to avoid that. And of course, other drugs, weeds and cannabis or hookah, bunch of stuff, all these things you got to avoid. There's the best prevention I can think of. Again, exercise, food, and addiction. 3 things avoided, you prevent a lot of heart diseases.
Thank you. So, as we are living longer and longer, of course, quality of life also matters. So, what would you suggest people do to live a healthy life and better life?
Yes, the health care first is prevention, prevention, prevention. Prevention better than the cure. You start with children to begin with. In India, when I go to visit India, I go every year, you see children smoking, drinking, sodas, all the sugary drinks. If you go to any Indian store, look at all the shelves. Most food is fried food, fatty food, and also sodas. So my suggestion to every kid today in India should not use potato chips, chakli, jalebi, all kinds of fried food has to avoid. That's the one big culprit. Look at all the grocery stores in India, you'll see that. Even in America, a lot of food is just bad food. And avoid fast food. Now you have to go back to the old way of cooking, buy the grocery, buy the vegetables, cook at home, eat at home. Sometimes it may not be possible, but be careful what you're eating, how much you have in the food, all the chemicals, additives. So the best thing is to do fresh food, cook the food, eat it. That's the best advice I can give you on the food part. And number two, most of the South Indians have a highest risk of heart attacks. So try to avoid eating too much carbohydrate, eating rice, like eating sugar. I would rather prefer you to have wheat. You can make the split wheat as like a rice and eat it, and make a dosa with the wheat. So change your way you're doing things, and that's going to be very helpful. Of course, the meat, people want to eat meat, so don't do what the Westerns do, eating meat every day. That's bad for your heart, bad for everything, for cancers, breast cancer, everything's bad. Other than a newborn baby, better start breastfeeding them. Don't import the formulas to feed the child. Breastfeeding the best prevention for breast cancer, best immunity for a child as he grows up. Breast milk has a lot of things in it, immune cells which are going to help the GI tract to create a good microbiota and prevent allergies, prevent cancers, prevents a lot of things. So breastfeeding is extremely important. People listen to me today, do that. Do not go to formula feeding, which I don't recommend at all.
So you definitely don't advise people in India to follow the Western pattern, because obesity is the biggest problem in America, and cancers are always on the rise because of all the meats and the steroids that they push in the meat, and unhealthy diet, fried foods and fast food. So you think Indian food has better value than Western food and Western habits that they're developing?
Yes, to a certain extent. If you look at the rectal cancer in America, America eats the highest amount of beef than any other country. More beef, more meat you eat, highest prostate cancer, highest rectal cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer are that. India, luckily we don't have as much, because still a lot of people are vegetarians, and in America we try to be vegetarians. More and more people are promoting. India, they want to build the muscles, they want to go for non-vegetarians. My recommendation, stay where you are, don't adopt certain Western bad habits, coke, sodas, smoking, alcohol. These are bad stuff you guys are importing to India, which is bad. More cigarettes sold in India than America now. It's increasing. Alcohol, everywhere you are. So best thing is to stay where you are before in the past, and don't go move forward with that. Same thing. what we see in America, divorce rates very high. So family is also important for the healthy balance of the family. It's a good for any patient as a good prevention. So my advice to you is good diet, daily exercise every day, at least 3 to 4 times a week, cardiovascular, muscle strengthening, and yoga, and relaxation and meditation is important. And also, we know that with the IT people working too hard, no relaxation, sitting all day long, they need exercise every day. Number 3, most important is family, family, family. Don't go to this trap of divorce, divorce, divorce. Before you marry, select the person that you want to and try to work with it. And anytime you have a divorce, family interruptions, a child has a problem, mother has a problem, whole family goes through lots of anxiety, fragmentation, all that. My advice to you as a family is a one thing called, very simple, one sentence. You play together, pray together, eat together, then you stay together. This you practice every day. Again, play together, pray together, eat together, then stay together. So all the family has to eat at the same time. Play sometime, enjoy. If you're going to pray, the praying together. This makes the whole family as one unit, which is gone in America. So in India, we had it before, we still have it in the villages, but in the city, you better follow the same thing. Don't change to the western side. Okay, right now I'm going to summarize what I spoke before in this video. The first is that about the bypass operation and also stent. These are necessary. I would suggest you to consult your cardiologist, your family practitioner. If you think that you need it, go and take their advice. Do not take Dr. B.M.Hegde's advice. He may be a cardiologist, but his recommendation not to have any stent, even though if you have a blockage, don't do it. I don't know where he's getting this information from, but just go to see your doctor. Number 2, about the Ayurveda. In Ayurveda needs really a rehaul of the entire system. It's not going to come to forefront unless you make some changes. The treatment, like for example, your vamana, which is drinking a ghee and vomiting to take the doshas, what I think the toxins in the body causing the various doshas cause the disease. So by drinking a ghee, which is the butter which is boiled, whatever, and don't drink it, you may have more problem aspirating the ghee into the lungs, causing more aspiration pneumonia. So don't do that. Other one is purgation. In Ayurveda they talk about the medicated purgation, means make you have a diarrhea with the medication. And bhasti is giving the enema, clearing the colon, thinking toxins to go away. And the other one is nasya. Nasya is nose cleaning. The last one is raksha moksha, and that also basically means that cleaning the blood. These are the 5 treatments they give you for everything, for diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. These are not proven. This is probably a placebo effect, because people are anxious, they're nervous, they don't know what to do. They end up going to some Ayurvedic doctors and do all these 5 different things and charge you 10 to 20,000 rupees or more, and it's a rip-off. So before you do that, I would suggest you to consult your physicians. And also Ayurvedic medications, make sure there's no arsenic, no lead, no mercury, and all these things. in it so that you won't develop brain damage taking those pills. So therefore what I'm just saying is that we need to sit down and have a brainstorming session with all the experts how to bring the Ayurveda integrated with allopathic medication. Is called as integrated medicine. That's what we need to do rather than going backwards. The next thing is about the Gomutra. Gomutra, I guess, is more a religious thing, and there is no evidence drinking Gomutra does anything, doesn't prevent the disease or treat the disease. If you want to drink it, it's okay. But as a physician, with the research I've done and the analysis I've done, there's no reason to drink Gomutra for anything. Again, it's left to you. The drug reactions. Dr. B.M. Hegde talks of drug reaction is the cause of common death in the world. Drug reaction is not the common cause of death. It's a heart disease. Cardiovascular mortality is the highest in the world compared to any other causes. So I won't take his reason what he says. We see drug reactions every day. Even the herbal medications and also allopathic medications can cause drug reactions. Some are mild, some are more severe. Needs to be treated and eliminate the drugs causes the reactions. I'm an allergy immunologist. I do this every day. And the last thing is about prevention. Anything has to be in moderation. The food has to be not to eat too much, not eat too less, in moderation. Less carb, moderate amount of protein, more vegetables, vegetarian diet, very little meat. Best suggest is a vegetarian food with vegetarian protein. That's probably the best thing you can do. And the exercise every day is important, 3 to 4 hours, at least 3 to 4 days a week. Good cardiovascular, muscular relaxation. And the last thing is relaxation. It's also very important. Meditation, relaxation. And the addiction, of course, smoking, alcohol, drugs. In America, opioid addiction causing thousands of deaths. We don't want to go back to America having these deaths, or in Europe. So try to avoid any addiction. Don't do it. Tell your teenagers not to do it. And the other important thing is the family life. Family life has to be balanced. We all have to work. We have to spend time with your wife, spend time with your children, play with them. My one sentence I can summarize: you play together, pray together, eat together, and stay together. So all these things, play, pray, and eat together, brings the family together and makes one unit. So if you're working, take your time and come home, spend time with your children. They will be good. It's you who raise your children, and don't blame the children later on. The last thing I want to tell you is that we're seeing in India a lot of westernization. We don't want to import some of the bad stuff that Western countries has, like smoking, drug addictions, alcohol, eating a lot of meat, eating beef or high amount of beef and meat causes significant amount of cancers, heart disease, autoimmune diseases. Meat causes autoimmune diseases. We see in America more autoimmune diseases than the communicable diseases. We need to prevent that. And we don't want to have a fragmentation family, like divorce, multiple marriages. The whole thing is just a big mess with the family in this country. So we need to not to bring that back to India. What we had before is great. I want you to continue that no matter where you go. This is very, very important. With this, I'm going to end my talk, and good luck to all of you. So raise your family, raise your kids, be healthy. Thank you. my contact information and also for my 2 books. One is Indo-American Parenting. If you are in other countries other than India or anywhere, you may want to read this book on Indo-American Parenting. I put a lot of efforts to write this book. And if you want to know about Hinduism, Hindu culture, Veda Upanishad, or about Ayurveda, a very good book. You can go to Amazon, buy these 2 books. It's very interesting, and review it for your information. And my contact information right here is my website is asthmaallergy.net, asthma-allergy.net, sleepdiagnosticcenter.com, sleepdiagnosticcenter.com, and also hinduscripture.net, hinduscripture.net for my book. These books can be bought at amazon.com. And again, thank you for listening. And my telephone number is 281-548-7313, 281-548-7313. My email is bhatsleep@msn.com, Bhat, B-H-A-T, sleep@msn.com. Thank you.
So the contact numbers for Dr. Bhat.